Tell me your name, where you're from, and where the house is located.
Sure. My name is Jim Simpson, and the house is located in Overland Park. I actually live in Omaha. It was my sister's home, and she passed away back in January. So I was kind of designated. I took it upon myself to administer the estate. She did have some assets, so I figured it was worth pursuing. Though I had very little experience at it, I was fortunate to find a good attorney who was helpful, and then of course found a good company to work with on the real estate side.
Awesome. Before you found us, what was the most stressful part about the house situation for you?
Well, I'd say, just my inexperience with it, not sure what all the steps were and what all the process was. My sister, not real good at taking care of her business, unfortunately, so I've had, to jump through some extra hoops kind of along the way and throughout the process. But, we managed to get through them, thanks to you guys' help, of course. But I was stressed out. One of the things that had me stressed out was the original offer that I got from a different company that I found to be ambiguous and full of what seemed like contingencies to me. And I wasn't certain, how to process it. I was asking for more clarification on it and wasn't getting it. So when, and you weren't the only other company that reached out to me, but the other two that I talked to, everything was done by text, which, okay, that's fine. But with you guys, with your company, it was very official, very professional, had paperwork and contracts and things like that, which, they just said, they had told me that, they would give me, they'd give me an offer, and they called it as is. But then they went on to list all these other things that, we got to check the sewer line first and make sure that's cleaned. And so I just wasn't sure about it. And that had me stressed out.
Yeah, that's very common. It's as is until it's time to actually call it as is, right? Unfortunately, we see that a little too often in our industry. So I'm glad that you appreciated the fact that we truly did buy it as is, right? It does make a difference there.
Yes. It was a big relief.
Good deal. So you mentioned, the stressful part was just not knowing the little pieces that you needed to do to get this to the finish line. Your sister wasn't, exactly proactive in taking care of things. How was, on a day-to-day basis, how was that making you feel in the background when you had this house just sitting there and dealing with all that?
Well, of course, living in Omaha, having to deal with it from a long distance, that didn't help. I was constantly driving down there, having to take time off work and deal with these things. And her house was, not in good shape. And there were some things in it that I wanted to get out and it's full of trash and just, she didn't take very good care of it. So that was, difficult. Just again, not really sure what the steps were. I almost walked away from it. She had not paid her property taxes in years since her husband died. She paid off the house when he died in 2010, but for whatever reason stopped paying property taxes. So there was uncertainty there, whether it was something was worth pursuing or not. But in the long run, it worked out great. I felt it was just so much more reassured working with your company, and felt like I was. Didn't a lot less stress once I talked to Brandton. I felt so much better.
What kind of shape was the property in, and what problems were you dealing with the house, and what made you decide to go as is?
My sister struggled. She had some mental health issues, and so she kind of wasn't in good shape for a long time. Lived kind of like a hermit, and a little bit like a hermit and a little bit like a hoarder. But she had, just did not take care of the place. It was very run down. She just didn't have the capacity or the capability to do that. So that was a problem. Just kind of going in there full of trash and trying to dig through there and find the things that we wanted. She had a lot of jewelry, and I have two daughters, and she had a bunch of nieces, so we wanted to get that out. There was some firearms that were heirlooms as well, but we got those out. There were a lot of tools. They owned a body shop and a tow company. And when that went under before he died, a lot of the tools were brought over to the house. So there's a lot of, there was a big snap-on tool chest. There was a lot of valuable stuff in there. And she was into Southwestern art, and a lot of Navajo rugs, and a lot of, Southwestern art, and totem poles, all kinds of stuff in there. So wanted to get some stuff out, but just digging through and trying to find it was very difficult. But when I came down originally with my brother-in-law, big 20-foot trailer, big truck, and he walked in and started looking around, and he looked at me and says, you should just hire an auction company to go through all this and take care of it. That hadn't occurred to me. My attorney happened to know a really good one in Gardner, Kansas, and he took it over, and working with him has been quite a pleasure too. He's been a great, huge help. My late brother-in-law owned a custom motorcycle, a big dog pit bull motorcycle, and so they're auctioning that off, and a couple of vehicles and all of the stuff. So I was pleased with what we got back from the auction company. And that took a lot of stress off too. Once they got everything out of there, and I didn't have to worry about, any of the valuable stuff, just going away.
So did listing with an agent feel like an option for you? And why or why not?
No, it never even occurred to me. You guys approached me, and I felt kind of like in the condition that the house was in. A realtor probably, an actual agency would not have been a good option. Your industry serves a purpose, and that's why you do so well. And I'm, about as typical as a client as you guys probably get. So certainly, that was just never even a consideration.
Be honest with me. What worried you about a We Buy Houses for Cash company like ours?
I really didn't have any, to be honest. Like I said, you definitely serve a purpose for me. I can't imagine any other way of handling this situation. So.
Was there anything that maybe almost stopped you from moving forward to sell us your house?
Nope, nothing.
Good deal.
Not you guys. The other company certainly,
yeah,
did, but not you.
What? So you had the other company that had given you an offer, and obviously was on the table there. So what was the main key one or two differences between us and them that made you decide to go with us over the competition or another company? You
did not have a contingency. That was first and foremost by far. That was the big thing for me. I was trying to get an answer from them, and wasn't. You offered me a much better price. They actually tried to come back and offer and beat your offer. But then they said they went to 235, I think, and then said, but it was contingent on the sewer line. So I talked to the attorney. I said, I'm not accepting that. He goes, yeah, you should go with the other guys. I said, I'm going to. So yeah, that was it. It was the fact that they just kept made the offer in a text, and acting like we're old buddies, and telling me about their kids and stuff. I just didn't feel like it was very professional. It was the exact opposite with me. Brandton was very professional. Keaton was very professional. He showed up right away, and he was in and out in no time. I was really, really impressed. And then just getting the paperwork, just everything, overall, the overall approach that you guys take.
Good deal. Yeah, and I'm really glad that you say that, because it is genuine in the sense of we do try to approach what we do differently, but we try to provide what we feel is different in the marketplace from what else is out there. So I really appreciate you recognizing that. It means a lot, genuinely, to know that message is being delivered the way we hope it's getting delivered.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I only dealt with two other companies, but both of them, one said thanks, but no thanks, but it was all in text. And I said that was fine. So yeah, just everything. I think you guys were spot on.
Awesome. Well, then that kind of leads us to our next part here. Was there anything, you've mentioned a couple things here, but was there anything specific that we said or did that made you feel like, okay, these guys are different?
Well, yeah. The one thing that stood out to me was when, just Brant took a very professional approach to it. He didn't send me a text. We were emailing. And once I said, yeah, he sent me the document, sent me actual documentation that was professional, that needed to be filled out, and a contract. So that was what I remember saying to myself. Okay, this is much better. This guy is sending me, he's taking a much more professional approach. So that would be the one thing I'd say.
Awesome. Okay. And then, once you said yes and we signed the contract, what actually happened from your perspective from that day until closing day?
Well, I don't know if it was that day, but within a couple of days, Laura reached out to me. Like I said, I'm on the road quite a bit. I'm up in Chicago, Denver, Minneapolis, a lot of times I'm out and about. Sometimes I drive, sometimes I fly. So sometimes it's hard to, like be driving somewhere. Oh, yeah, what's this? Oh, I'll get to it later. And then I don't get back to it. So I think I kind of waited a little while to get back to her. But once I did, and once we got going, she just made me feel very much at ease, and, was very assuring as to, don't worry, if you've got any questions, I'm here for you. She was great.
Well, how fast did we close on the transaction, and what ended up, from your perspective, being easier than you had initially expected?
The thing that was harder than I expected was, going through signing all the paperwork. But the easiest thing was, I guess I shouldn't say that. I kind of dreaded it. I thought this is going to be difficult, but actually, Laura gave me good instructions, and so did Nancy over at the title company. They were both really good as far as, so don't worry, here's what you got to do, and whenever you can get to it. I think that was probably, the easiest thing.
What's the best part about being done with the house now?
Oh man, not stressing about what might pop up still. But boy, yeah, once it closes, just not be stressing about it anymore and not having to deal with it.
How do you feel today compared to before you ever met us and ever spoke to us?
Triumphant. I couldn't be happier that it's over. I can't tell you how much stress is off after the last week. It's just been it's been crazy, and I feel just very, very happy and much more relaxed, certainly, because the process was you guys made it pretty easy, and got me through it. So I feel great.
If someone in Kansas City is in the same spot you're in, or a very similar situation that you're in, and maybe potentially nervous about calling us or having a conversation with us, what would be something that you would tell them?
I would tell them just the difference between my experience between you and the two other companies that contacted me. Just you're much more professional, more transparent. Just told me what I wanted to know and got me answered all the questions, and I would highly recommend you, for sure, without question.
That's all we've got on the testimonial side. So that was awesome. Thank you so much. Again, I can't begin to explain how much this stuff really does mean to me. I mean, I think hopefully you can tell after speaking with Keaton, Brandton, Laura, and now myself, we've gotten to talk to four of us now. We really do care about this, and it really does make a difference. And we really try very hard to actually make a difference in the industry and make a difference in the space. So getting this feedback and getting these kind of videos so we can, get more exposure for how we operate is really very powerful and very helpful. So again, thank you so much for, taking some time to do this.
Head to iBuyKC.com, iBuyKC.com.